Joy Guru, I am Amalendu Chatterjee. I am an ex-associate professor and a SPR. I do discuss religious or spiritual or related topics as far as my little knowledge goes. Do subscribe to this channel of mine, namely Anukul Kotha, if you like my deliberation. Today I would like to read one half of a letter which was written by Sree Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra to his wife. And I would try to explain the inner message of this letter. And of course, I must say, as far as my little knowledge goes. Now, actually, Sree Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra has written this letter in Bengali language. I have translated this letter in my own way, I must say, because at the outset, I must say that my translation has so many errors. And it is definitely not an exact literal translation also. So therefore, forgive me if I have made any, made any mistake in translation. But let me read the translation at first. Letter at first. He has written like this. He has addressed his wife as Kollaniyasu, and then he has written, I got your letter soaked in nectar. Having this letter, I am so delighted that I can't express it in words in this small letter. Hope you won't forget to write such letter without expecting any return or reply from my end. Everything is new in this world. Just try to recall what were you on yesterday and what are you on today. What was I on yesterday and what am I on today? We could not detect as to how our babyhood, adolescence have passed away. Everything outwardly in this world is ever new. Everything is ever changeable. Whatever thing or object you see on today, you won't see it on tomorrow. Beauty, youth, money, wealth, dealing, behavior, whatever you may call them, or whatever you may see them on today, you won't say these or see these on tomorrow. World is ever new or ever changeable. Now tell me, which has got no change whatsoever? Atman, that is soul, has no change. When you and I were within the wombs of our mothers, the Atman was same, and it is still same even on today. Atman is the principal worker in this universe. Whatever this Atman wishes, that is effected, and it will be effected eternally. Union with Atman is marriage, and separation with Atman is estrangement. So this is the one half of the letter of Sree Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra. Now, I would like to pose certain questions, and I would try to explain. Or you can say I would try to answer these questions. The first question, that is, who wrote letter at first? Whether the wife of Sree Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra, whom we call Pujaniya Boroma, she is definitely our very respected mother. Whether she wrote the letter at first or Sree Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra wrote the letter at first. And it is quite evident that at that point when Sree Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra has written this letter, definitely she was at her father's house. And it is more or less evident that Boroma, Pujaniya Boroma, respected Boroma, wrote the letter at first. And this is just a reply letter. This is doubly sure as because Sree Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra has written this statement that I think you won't stop writing letter, you see, without expecting, or you can say you won't stop writing this letter, and you must not expect any return or reply from my end. So therefore, it was respected Boroma who wrote this letter at first. And it is also evident because of the fact that Sree Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra had to attend audience almost every day. And he was so preoccupied that he didn't get any spare time to write a letter. But then, here we must express our indebtedness. We must owe our indebtedness to respected Boroma. As because since she had written the letter at first, we have obtained, you can say, we have got this invaluable letter of Sree Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra. I would like to say that I think sincerely that this letter is an invaluable letter, because this letter has ventilated the highest truth of spirituality. I will come later on. So therefore, this is more or less regarding this matter particularly, whether who wrote the letter at first. And the second question, why Sree Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra addressed his wife as Kollaniyasu? This address usually used in letter to younger person. Yes, it is the truth that she was, that is, respected Boroma was definitely younger than Sree Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra. But since she was younger, that was the reason why Sree Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra addressed her as Kollaniyasu. This is not possibly the only reason. The other reasons are also there. I should say there is a more deeper meaning, more deeper significance. You see, as because in Bengali there are two terms. One is Pita and another is Poti. Pita means husband and Poti means husband and Pita means father. Now, you see, these two words, that is Pita and Poti, have derived from the same root meaning. So therefore, the internal, you can say the internal message of these two words are essentially same. That is, you see, father and husband. That is, father, it is concerned with his daughter, and you see, husband, it is concerned with his wife. These two relationships are based totally on tenderness and affection. See, the relationship between a father and a daughter is full of tenderness and affection. And same is true, for the relationship of husband and wife. The only one distinction is there, that is, sexual union is permissible in case of husband-wife relationship, while it is prohibited in case of father and daughter relationship. But otherwise, the meaning, or you can say the message of these two terms, that is Poti and Pita, that is husband and father, are essentially same. So that's and not only that, it has complete consistency with the message that have been, that is scripted, you can say, that is given in our religious scriptures. So therefore, that Sree Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra addressed his wife as Kollaniyasu, it has got a very deeper significance, very deeper meaning. Now, I would like to discuss the first two lines. That is, he has stated that I got your letter soaked in nectar. And I am so delighted having this letter that I can't express it in words in this small letter. See, these two lines are sufficient enough, to express. You can say this is the testimony of how sweet was the relationship between him and his wife, and with his wife. So therefore, and nowadays, you can say today's era, writing letter is an obsolete subject. But then it has its own significance, because we usually write, letter in Facebook, in other social medium. So therefore, we need to know how to write a letter. The first two lines, this is, I should say, sufficient enough to express how to write a letter. So and you can say these two lines have such a flavor that, it expresses sweetness of the relationship between husband and wife. Now, coming to the next part, that is, he has stated, and in the next part, he has stated something very, you can say, he had stated the highest truth of spirituality. That is, he has stated that everything in this world is new. Everything in this world is new, is ever changing, is ever changeable. Whatever you see, you can say whatever you saw on yesterday, you won't see it on today, and you won't see it on tomorrow. And then he has written that, so this is for the outward objects of the environment. You can say this is about the outward objects of the universe. But the inner world, you can say the interior world of ourselves, is also ever changing, is also ever new. As because he has stated that Roop, that is the beauty, Jauban, that is wealth, youth, beauty, youth, money, wealth, dealings, behavior, all these, whatever you call them, they are ever new, they are ever changeable. So it is a fact. And then he has stated that he has posed this question that now tell me which has got no change whatsoever. And he has given the reply. He has stated that yes, the spirit, or you can say the soul, the Atman, he has stated the particular term Atman has no change. It was same when you and me, or even you and I were in the wombs of our mothers, and it is still same even on today. And it would remain so forever. So therefore, he has stated something very special about spirituality to his wife. Because of the fact, the same truth, same truth, the Lord Krishna has stated the same truth. That is, there is a permanent entity. There is an eternal entity. Yes, it is true. It is true that whatever we see outwardly, these are all changing, these are all ever new. And even our body, our mind, these entities also would change. But there is something which is unchangeable, which is immutable, which is indestructible. And that is, the Atman. We say it Atman. But ultimately, what is Atman? It is not something, something volatile objects, or it is not something, vapor-like entity. It is not. Ultimately, you can say the immanent form of Atman is definitely the Purushottam, that is the Supreme Person. As Supreme Person, Ramachandra has come in this world, and then Lord Krishna, and there is a series of appearance like this. We say it that Ram, Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, Chaitanya, Rama, Krishna Dev, and ultimately the latest is Sree Sree Thakur, Anukul Chandra. So therefore, the immanent form, of the Atman is Purushottam, the supreme being. So therefore, he has expressed that there is a permanent entity. Not that we would be finished, would be ever lost, even after death. The same truth, has been told by Lord Krishna also in the 12th sloka of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where he has stated, the blessed Lord stated like this: Na te vaham jatu nasham natam ne me janadhipaho na chaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayamata param. It is certainly, the meaning of this sloka is simply this, that it is certainly not a fact that I did not exist. And I did not exist at any time, nor you, nor these rulers of men. And surely it is not that we shall cease to exist after this. So therefore, there is a permanent entity, there is an eternal entity. And this is because of the fact, because of the presence of this permanent entity, because of the presence of this eternal entity, we see, or you can feel, we can realize the changeable objects, the ever new objects. That everything is changing, everything is mutating. We feel it, we realize it is because of the fact that there is a permanent entity behind. And that permanent entity we call it as Atman, we call it as soul, we call it as spirit, whatever name we may give it. Ultimately, the same truth, that is Atman. There is a permanent truth. So therefore, this is the highest truth of spirituality. And he has written this, or you can say he has expressed this highest truth to his wife. And just see, and definitely the immanent form, of this Atman is Supreme Person, that is Supreme Man, that is Purushottam. So therefore, it should be our endeavor to stick to the Supreme Person. if we want to, if we want to be successful in this human life. So therefore, this is the highest truth. And again, he has stated that Atman is the principal worker in this universe. He is the principal worker. And whatever Atman wishes, that is effected. And that would be effected forever. That would be effected, in future also. So therefore, this is the strength of Atman. This is the power of Atman. And as a matter of fact, Sree Sree Thakur Anukul Kotha has defined Atman as energetic Ran. This is an entity which is always running and it is full of energy. So therefore, anyway, so this is about the Atman. Now, so therefore, this is really very strange, I should say. It may sound peculiar that a husband is writing such a higher truth of spirituality to his wife. You see, this is really very, I should say, this is very strange. But then, the next question, or you can say, last but not the least, I must say, that is that this letter was written by a husband to his wife. So therefore, it is definitely a private property. It is definitely a private thing, a private letter. But it has come to the public domain. The reason why, I think here also we must express, we must ventilate our indebtedness to respected Boroma, because she was so liberal that she had given this letter to somebody through whom we have obtained this letter. But having said this, I must say that whether this is not the truth, even then the letter would have been published, because it is written not only to his wife. Yes, he has written this letter definitely to his wife, but it is written it is written for the whole humanity at large. The whole humanity would be benefited. It is for the well-being of ourselves. So therefore, this letter would have been published definitely. There is no doubt about it. But whatever, leave it, I should say, that definitely it is a piece of sheer fortune. It is definitely a piece of sheer luck that we have obtained this invaluable letter. You see, and not only that, he has stated like this, that is union, with this Atman is marriage, and separation with this Atman is estrangement. Here, he has not mentioned any gender. Marriage is generally, it is generally happened within husband and wife. But here, this particular term marriage it does not refer to a particular gender. As a matter of fact, that is the union of this sperm with this union with this Atman. It means that is, if we can unite ourselves with this Atman, then that is what is marriage. That is you can say the actual union. That is the actual sweetest moment. That is the marriage. In other words, it is marriage. That is, in other words, this term marriage here, I should say, refers with you can say unison. Unison of the mind with Atma. In other words, the ever-changing entity with the ever-unchanging unity. That is what marriage is all about. And if whenever we forget this Atman, whenever we forget the Supreme Person, that is Purushottam, then this is what is Biroho. In Bengali it is called Biroho. It is in English it is called estrangement. That is separation with this Atman. That is when we get separated from the Supreme Person, when we get separated from Atman, that is estrangement is all about. So therefore, in conclusion, I must say that this letter is definitely an invaluable letter. And I would request all the audience, I should say, irrespective of whether they are initiated with the holy name of Sree Sree Thakur Anukul Chandra or not. This does not matter at all. What is important, that just please go through the content of this letter and you will get the highest truth of spirituality. So, live in love. Joy Guru.